was in Michael's recently, and I saw as part of the Silhouette Cameo signage this little 3D ship. Um, and I thought it would be a fun project to make, so I bought the file and started to make it. Unfortunately, I found a number of problems with it, so I'm making this video. I think this is important because Silhouette is using this image to sell their product. So they are essentially saying, buy our cutter and you can make this little thing. And then they sell the file to make this little thing. And it comes from this company, Paper Pop Cards. Paper Pop Cards has a number of other files on the Silhouette store as well. But I'm going to focus on this one because, this is what Silhouette is saying, using to sell themselves. So I'll go to my Silhouette Studio and we'll import the image. So it comes in, there's a bunch of little, looks like a standard cut file, lots of little squiggly lines. It is all one big group, which helps to do sizing, the scaling. So when you move that, everything moves together. So that is pretty standard acceptable stuff. You'll notice that there's no instructions that came with it, though. There's nothing around the page to tell you how to assemble this or what to do with it. There appear to be some letters on there, but you help identify parts, but it doesn't really tell you anything. If you look at the product page, there are no instructions. There's no link to any sort of directions or anything. So, here's your picture, here's your file, good luck. If we look at the file, look at the picture, try to compare the two. So when we look here, we have these sails, appear to be something. There's these flags, there's the sides, the hull, all these pieces. So we can kind of visually identify some of the parts that we should need to cut out. So when we go look over here at the actual file, we see the center of the ship. This is the sail. There's a sail here. Here's another one of the masts with the sail. Move the file over here. We have the large center section with the big mast and the sails, but there's no, over here we have separate sails. We have the sails are white and this part's black. So where are the separate sails in this file? There are none. There's no separate sails to cut. So in order to actually make this that they're displaying, that they're showing, I would have to manually go in and change this file, draw the lines, connect the things to make those separate sail files. Those are separate sail cut lines. That's not very nice. Also, we look at this. We see that everything's one group and it doesn't fit on a page. So in order to arrange things onto different sheets in different colors to cut, clearly I want to move things around. So to do that, the first thing I would do is ungroup this one group when I have things the size I want. And everything turned into separate lines. There's now hundreds of just all kinds of lines here. So that the entire cut file exploded into just a whole bunch of separate cut lines. So in order to move any of these pieces, I would have to carefully select a piece and group that and then move it out. Let's see, and move it. Oh, and in this case, look, I grabbed a piece of the ship there, so that, all right, messed that up. So now I have to start over and try again. So in order to separate this out into, cut parts, I'm going to have to do that all over here. This whole thing, I'm going to have to carefully select sections, move them off to the side, and do it that way. So that's going to take me a bit of time to go through that. The other problem we have here is all of these lines are not, these outlines are not continuous paths. They are separate. They are separate little cut lines, which if you know how your cut files work, you really don't know the order that these are going to be cut in. So it could cut here, and then it could come over and cut this piece, and then it could go over and cut that little line and cut over. So your cutter is not going to make nice, smooth, continuous cuts. It's going to make a whole bunch of little random cuts all over the place, and that is going to take a lot of time and give you a poor quality cutout. So that's not very good. Another thing, if we look at here, zoom in, you can see there's a gap within the file here. There's a gap within the line there. There's a gap here. There's a gap there. There are gaps all over this, all over these cut files. There's a gap there. So when you cut this out, you're going to have to, it's not going to pop out of the paper cleanly. You're going to have to manually, snip these with your little knife to get it to come out. And that's not very good. That's not going to be fun. So those are probably the problems I have with this. Of one, Silhouette's using this in marketing. They're displaying this within Michaels. They're using this to say, hey, buy our product. You can make this thing. It will be fun. Look at what you can do. But when you buy this product, this is it's a pretty bad example of a cut file. So if, like me, you were excited about, oh, let's buy this and make this fun thing, you are in for a long road. You do not have the pieces you need to produce this. There are no instructions. The cut file itself, it's poorly designed. It's not optimized well, and it's just not very well done. If you go to Paper Pop Card's website themselves, they actually sell a physical card based on this. So for $10, you can buy a card that is this. So you can see here, it comes in a card and it folds up and it's really cute. Notice, however, that their version of it, the center is all a solid color, the sails are all a solid color. So here we have actually the solid colors that we see in the cut file, right? The whole center is one piece, is one color. The whole center is one piece, is one color. The mast is one piece and one color. Unlike the product display page on Silhouette, where they show all these different colors. So the vendor Paper Pop cards, they seem to have accurately represented what it is they've put on the Silhouette store. But Silhouette here has chosen to put something that is not representative of what you're actually going to buy and what you can do. So I think that shows poorly on Silhouette's part when they're using this file, they're using this image in their marketing within Michaels to sell their product, and not only can you not make what it is that they're displaying, but the file itself is poorly done. If I was to buy this, if I was to buy a Silhouette and buy this product, buy this image, and then say, hey, this is, this shows me what I can do with a Cameo, I would be really disappointed. I would be very confused. I would be very angry that, wow, this is just a whole lot of work to do this cutting stuff, and oh, all these pieces, and what do I? It's just a very poorly done, poor representation of the cutting hobby itself. Um, Other files you buy from other vendors are just much better done. All of these would be grouped together, continuous paths for where appropriate, um, not gaps, so that it would come out of the paper cleanly. So I think Silhouette has really hurt themselves by using this image and with this particular cut file.